For any medium to flourish and hold its place and popularity in this age of ever increasing media, it needs creativity. It needs permission to be different and to take risks. Relying on the same formula, the same tropes, similar plot devices which were popular in the past doesn't allow a medium to grow, and it starts to lose its charm, and it becomes boring in its quest of playing it safe. A medium needs to constantly evolve, taking risks, failing, learning, but in the process, at least try to give the audience something new and different. Especially in a medium like animation, which is so different as it can achieve so much more with very few resources compared to many other mediums of entertainment. Many things that will never work in other mediums can be made possible through animation. It is the ultimate weapon against any and every limitation and obstacle that comes in the way of expression of human creativity. And even in this medium of anime, we've seen some studios try to mix things up, but often studios look at the things that are being most accepted by the global audience, shows that are going mainstream, and they try to create more shows along those exact lines, trying to replicate that same level of success. And nothing kills a medium faster than blindly following the established convention. But there's one modern day studio that has always been willing to break that mold, take the necessary risks and give us something unique every single time. And that is Studio Science Saru, a studio that prioritizes creativity over convention. A studio that is constantly testing the limits of what can be done with the medium of anime and keeping the creative nature of this medium alive. But even when studios like MAPPA and Ufotable are praised, Science Saru is rarely brought up in any sort of conversation. So today we will look at some shows by Studio Science Saru that will hopefully help you understand the range, creative flair and the artistic vision of this company. Now, as a studio that was officially established in 2013, Science Saru doesn't have a big catalog of shows compared to some other major studios in the industry. But the shows it does have all break the convention one way or the other and present unique stories and ideas. To understand that, look no further than the movie Night is Short, Walk on Girl. Night is Short, Walk on Girl is a movie that depicts the randomness of fate, events that demonstrate that randomness, and a girl that goes on an adventure believing in that faith. It is a romance story like no other, chasing youth, chance, and the feeling that anything can happen. This is a movie that perfectly demonstrates what Science Saru is all about. It's not about the plot or everything making sense, it's more about the nuanced feel and atmosphere and the charming way of selling that feeling to the audience. The movement, the characters, the colors, the animation all serve the same purpose of bringing out the fun and amusing aspect of the randomness of destiny. And all this takes place in the span of a single night that seems to last for a year. This movie will give you an experience that can't be replicated and will have you smile throughout the entire movie. A story which doesn't just move forward in a straight path, but it wonders about finding ways to paint a pleasantly random and colorful picture of love and destiny. But don't be fooled by the colorful and fun nature of this movie, as Science Saru can bring that level of artistry to much more dark and gritty stories as well. And to get a glimpse of that, just watch Devilman Crybaby. If the name itself doesn't tell you just how brutal the world of Devilman is, all you have to do is watch one episode, which welcomes you to a story that constantly strips the idea of hope away from you. It is not a conventional idealistic world with devils being the bad guys and a hero comes along to save humanity. It is a dark depiction of how vile humans are willing to become to get what they desire, to satisfy their greed. They are even willing to sacrifice their humanity if needed to fulfill their urges. It is violent, but more so it is unapologetic. It gives you an uncensored look into human greed and lust. Science Saru does a perfect job of making you feel more and more uncomfortable as the show goes on. From the subtle details in the character animation to the weird movements to the haunting sound design, everything comes together to capture the unnerving essence of this story. It feels shocking not because of the gruesomeness but because it refuses to comfort you. And it has one of the most shocking and dark endings in all of anime. This show perfectly defines Science Saru, a studio willing to take risks, not presenting popular ideas in a comfortable way, but taking those ideas and stripping them of comfort, safety and hope and making people invested in the uncomfortable feeling that the show possesses. And this is one of the first shows where their risks paid off big time, as it became massively popular when it got released in 2018, winning that year's Crunchyroll Anime of the Year award. Of course, the fact that it was on Netflix helped bring this story in front of a mass audience, and it showed the mainstream audience just how gritty and yet investing anime really can be. Now, if you want to watch a show where Science Saru went ahead and broke down what animation truly means to them and possibly to anyone who ever loved animating and bringing their art to life, I highly recommend Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. It is a show that follows a group of characters who set out to make animated films of their own, facing various struggles when it comes to resources, budget, and time, but still somehow do their best to bring forth their vision and put it on the screen for the audience to enjoy. It perfectly captures the essence of a person doing all it takes, spending sleepless nights, pushing all the limits to do something they're truly passionate about. And of course, it has its own unique visual identity that Science Saru shows are known for. But more than anything, it's about the characters trying to create something the audience would like but are not willing to compromise their own ambition and vision and end up making something that is not exactly what audiences are known for liking, but something which is able to make the audience feel their passion and ultimately make them invested. Which is basically what Studio Science Saru is in a nutshell. And all the struggles, the methods and the passion that comes with creating something with animation is beautifully expressed in this 12-episode show. I want to end the video with a show that illustrates that even though Science Saru shows often opt for breaking convention, they can still create shows that people just can't stop talking about. A show that's crazy and chaotic and still became one of the most popular shows of 2024 and still continues to be a hit in 2025. Dandadan. Dandadan welcomes you to the chaotic world of ghost grannies, underpaid aliens and kaijus, a fascinatingly weird mixture of supernatural, action, romance and comedy. This show excels in creating a nuanced atmosphere, unique feel to its fight scenes, and a creative world and power system, and flawed but lovable characters. Another show coming from Science Saru that just refuses to play it safe and play it by the rule. A shonen that is so different and bizarre from all other action shonens. It throws the rulebook in the trash and takes you in a ride full of anarchy and excitement, and also helps remove the bad reputation anime has with comedy, and still gives you some of the most emotionally gripping scenes. A story filled with laughter, emotion and creativity, making it one of the most popular and beloved anime of the current times. I actually wanted to talk about a few more of their shows, but it just becomes harder the longer the video gets when you are alone and don't have anyone helping you in making videos, and also events of your own life intervenes. So unfortunately, I have to cut some corners. But I do hope that I was able to give you an idea about how important a studio like Science Saru is for constantly trying out new things and choosing creativity over convention, and how vital that is in keeping a creative medium like anime ever fresh and ever evolving. And in a medium like anime where studios many a times end up depending on repetition, Science Saru makes the boldest move of choosing curiosity over comfort, using the strengths of this medium to its fullest. And I hope more and more studios would stop chasing trends and start stepping out and exploring the vast possibilities of this medium that we all love.